Notably, and this includes China as well, apparently the US is now excluding computers and smartphones and other electronics from the tariffs, despite Trump and all of his state regime media. What this article says is that Donald Trump is using powers that he doesn't have because the power to tariff is actually the power of Congress, and that Trump is unlawfully using emergency war powers, in essence, to declare this trade war. What kind of important messages is he posting to try to address what he's doing? Well, he's posting photos and videos like this.
Did you know Trump is using emergency war powers to impose his tariffs? Not kidding. Powers he doesn't legally have. The Wall Street Journal called him out for grabbing power that actually belongs to Congress. Economists are watching in horror as credit markets freeze up and mortgage rejections hit levels not seen since October 2008. Remember what happened in 2008? Yeah, not great. And Trump's response? A few angry social media posts between golf swings. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Remember when Trump convinced everyone he was some kind of business genius? The guy who would make deals so good your head would spin? Yeah, that myth is crashing down faster than the dollar after his latest economic temper tantrum.
Donald Trump is waking up to headlines like this from the usually reliable Wall Street Journal. What this article says is that Donald Trump is using powers that he doesn't have because the power to tariff is actually the power of Congress, and that Trump is unlawfully using emergency war powers, in essence, to declare this trade war of Hillary Clinton from the golf course. Also, from his social media app, you get ads like this as you click through.
Trump's tariff strategy was supposed to be his masterstroke, the big plan that would force China to its knees and bring manufacturing jobs flooding back to America. Instead, what we got was an economic disaster that has financial experts using words like panic and crash in the same sentence. The so-called business genius decided he could just declare emergency war powers he absolutely does not have, to impose massive tariffs. The results? About what you'd expect when someone with a real estate background and multiple bankruptcies tries to play economist. The dollar immediately took a nosedive. Credit markets froze up faster than a lake in Minnesota in January, and mortgage application rejections hit levels we haven't seen since the catastrophic 2008 recession. Global investors are treating America like it's being run by a toddler with matches in one hand and gasoline in the other. Gold demand in London shot through the roof as everyone scrambled to find something, anything, more stable than the US dollar. When people are panic buying gold, that's never a good sign for your economy. It's like the financial equivalent of building a bunker in your backyard. Even the Wall Street Journal, hardly a publication known for bashing Republican presidents, called Trump out for his economic recklessness. They specifically blasted him for grabbing powers that constitutionally belong to Congress. Basically, the guy declared an illegal trade war and then acted surprised when it backfired spectacularly. It's like declaring yourself king of your neighborhood and then wondering why nobody's paying you taxes.
Trump wants to be impeached again. It's already in the cards thanks to his ill-founded trade war, no matter how that war plays out. Notably, and this includes China as well, apparently the US is now excluding computers and smartphones and other electronics from the tariffs, despite Trump and all of his state regime media. Trump's $150 trillion gift to America, and it has a photo of Trump next to Bitcoin.
China's response was swift and brutal. Instead of backing down as Trump predicted, they slapped a massive 125% tariff on all American goods. Not some goods, not most goods, all goods. China effectively told American businesses, thanks for playing, but you can't sit at our table anymore. Chinese manufacturers aren't feeling the pain Trump promised they would. In fact, Chinese furniture makers report that American orders have completely vanished. Not reduced, not decreased, completely stopped. While Trump was bragging about winning, American businesses were losing their international customers. The hypocrisy got even more jaw-dropping from there. Remember when Fox News host Jesse Waters mockingly imitated concerned Americans saying, "Oh, you know, we these flat screen TVs got to have our cheap flat screen TVs." Or when Trump's own Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, promised millions and millions of human beings will be screwing those little screws in the iPhones made right here in America. Apparently, that tough talk only applied until wealthy donors started complaining about their precious electronics getting more expensive. In a stunning reversal that surprised absolutely nobody who's been paying attention, Trump quietly announced tariff exclusions for computers, smartphones, and other electronics. So much for bringing high-tech manufacturing back to America. The Washington Post didn't miss this embarrassing flip-flop, pointing out how quickly Trump abandoned his economic principles the moment they became inconvenient for his rich friends. It turns out making America great again has an asterisk, unless it affects products rich people care about.
That is crashing the United States economy and sending the United States into a recession. So what's Donald Trump doing today, though, while he's golfing? Notably, in the past year, Bitcoin is down close to 10%. You remember Jesse Waters from state regime media known as Fox, Howard Lutnick, Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary, that Jennings guy.
This economic disaster has completely reversed Trump's standing with voters on the economy. Before the election, polls showed he had a 10-point lead in voter perception on handling the economy and a 12-point lead on dealing with the cost of living. Now, the Wall Street Journal reports that 52% of Americans disapprove of his economic policies. That's what happens when your brilliant economic strategy amounts to, "I'll figure it out when I get there," and then you very clearly don't figure it out. What makes this whole fiasco even more ridiculous is that Trump painted himself as the champion of the working class while simultaneously implementing policies that hurt those exact people. It's like promising to help someone move and then accidentally setting their furniture on fire and then charging them for the matches. The economic chaos unleashed by these tariffs disproportionately impacts middle-class Americans trying to refinance homes, small businesses dependent on international supply chains, and consumers facing higher prices. Meanwhile, the wealthy get exemptions and carve-outs because apparently some people are just more equal than others in Trump's America.
What kind of important messages is he posting to try to address what he's doing? Well, he's posting photos and videos like this. What we just learned this morning as well is that the United States published tariff exclusions for specified products that are subject to these exclusions, saying the iPhones and the electronics and the laptops and all of those products would clearly be subject to the tariff.
While Trump was busy perfecting his golf swing in Florida on the taxpayer dime, real Americans are getting hit with a financial sledgehammer. The Yale Budget Lab estimates his tariff temper tantrum will cost the average household $4,700 in purchasing power this year alone. That's not pocket change, that's grocery money, mortgage payments, and college funds evaporating. Consumer sentiment has plummeted 30% since December when Trump started playing economic roulette with our livelihoods. The Orange Menace promised to make America great, but instead he's making America's wallets empty. Remember these numbers in November, folks. While Donnie Diapers was working on his handicap, he was handicapping America's economy.